Welcome back, everybody. A bonus episode of The Lookout. Bonus as in like we're not back. We're not gone, but we're not back.
Yeah, listen, it's a check-in.
It's a check-in. There you go.
It's
That's
a
a good one.
check-in. It's for us to let y'all know that we're okay. It's for us to make sure that the fans are also doing well too. It's a check-in. Let y'all know what's going on a little bit.
It's a check-in. You know what? I want to firmly. Can I? And this is breaking news because this is like the first time I'm even telling you this. I fake want to return when JJK ends. I feel like that'll be a good way to kick off like where we go. So it's ending at the end of this month. September 30th. Yes,
September 30th is the last
chapter of JJK. So I feel like we started off this year talking about JJK. Season 2. Now we can kind of talk about the ending. Who knew that we'd live in a year where we'd have to talk about MHA's ending and JJK's ending within the span of like 60 days? But
and obviously I feel this is more of a discussion that we can have obviously once it ends and with all the things.
I don't want to jump to conclusions yet.
But I think it's also something poetic though. Like Akutami and Horikoshi have been like really two of the biggest mangaka, right? For Shonen Jump right now, and
right.
I feel that this is truly a mark of the end of an era. I think JJK and MHA have really. They were the cornerstones. You couldn't have one without the other. Shoot, it's gonna turn into who's better, JJK or. So I think it's poetic that both of them are ending in the same year and around the same time too.
It's kind of nuts that's happening this way, but I feel like we'll be able to talk about it a lot more in full at the end of this month.
Sure.
So make sure you guys stay tuned to that because we're definitely going to talk. We might have to re-rank our tier list. We might have to kind of just talk about this in full. You might have to.
We can't do the tier list again. I know you're going to start demoting things and start.
I don't think I'm going to demote things, but it definitely the context of the ending brings everything in context, right? Like, so we ranked it as we were going through, but haven't ranked the ending yet. But I don't think we're gonna not right now. I have an idea for another tier list. I mean, I feel like we can always do tier lists. We haven't done one since we've done that one, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about the end of JJK. But what we are here to talk about, what we're here to check in about, is Anime NYC.
Yes.
Typically, we do this the weekend of Anime NYC, but the weekend of Anime NYC was so crazy. So you flew in, you flew out.
Literally, it was. I got in Friday night. All Saturday, we were at Anime NYC. All Saturday.
My feet hurting, everything of the rather. And then you literally
I had my tracker on my steps,
Ooh, okay. What was yours?
It said I walked 10 miles.
Hold on, let me check my health app. Let's see. Let me check. How can I do this actually?
Can you go? I was gonna say, can you go back in days?
You should be able to. The fuck? Week. I can check for the whole month. What was it? August 23rd,
24th,
23rd. It said I walked. It said I burned 912 calories. So that's 900. Yeah, 912 calories. Yeah, it doesn't say how much steps I walked that day. Huh. Okay. Either way, we went to Anime NYC last weekend. Grand old time. I think more. How can we talk about this? So we have to cover. Well, I would like to cover Anime NYC essentially because we have to cover it as press. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get any interviews this year again. So we're in this interesting space. Not that we didn't sign up for interviews because we actually.
I mean, it kind of technically, although we didn't get those official sit down interviews, we got to see you host a great panel.
Yes, that was
with
amazing.
An amazing voice actor.
Steve
and
Bloom.
and I think that I don't know, like that was definitely the highlight. I feel that counts. I wish we could have recorded it and honestly everything so everyone could hear what Steve Bloom, all the great things he had to say. The amazing question Meelz got to ask him. But
Let's all right. So let's roll back. Let's roll back. You fly in on Friday night. You're chilling. It's New York City. It's the summer. It's the end of the
it's
summer.
Bloom. Yeah.
We're doing great. Following day, it's Anime NYC. So this entire week that's building up to Anime NYC, I find out. So through this great opportunity, I want to thank Victoria from Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast for the opportunity. The only reason I got to do it is because she couldn't do it. And she already had enough on her plate, so she was essentially like, "Hey,
Oh
this is
yeah,
a great
she was
opportunity."
everywhere. Man, super
Yeah,
shout out to Victoria. She was doing it all.
she hit me up while I was at Fanatics Fest, which is also at the Javits Center, which was a week before, which low key feels like a breath of fresh air compared to Anime NYC. So she was there. The opportunity came up. She was like, "Yo, would you like to do this?" I had to think about it. Normally in this situation, my introverted self would not want to do this in front of people, but also I was like, these are opportunities I'm not going to get in a very, very long time. I really had to think about it and like think about it for myself. I was like, I don't have a job. This would be a great opportunity to just for do. Apparently they pay you, so it is what it is. So I was like, you know what? Yes, put me in contact with people. Didn't find out um that I was actually doing it maybe until like Wednesday or Tuesday. Um but yeah, a lot of things good. So I was thinking of in my brain as I'm thinking of. So the way my brain works is it works on like the default of what level of anxiety that I want to like take on. So if I have things to do this week, it's just like, what level of anxiety is this? Maybe it's a 3, maybe it's a 5, maybe it's a 2. So this was probably like a 7 or 8. And I say it's 7 or 8 because I had to think of questions. Initially I had 2 and it went down. I went down to like a 5 because I had one. It switched out to 1. So initially I was going to do 2 panels over the weekend. One of them pretty much I got like, you don't have to do this anymore. Someone else is going to do it. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Even though I would have loved to do it. So it got switched out to 1. Low key, I thought it was Sunday and then found out it was Saturday, like on Friday, which was like crazy. I was like, nah, it's definitely Sunday. Like I was planning my whole weekend for like, all right, Sunday.
Yeah.
And then it was like Saturday. So I was like, but I was stressed because I got all these extra tickets and I was trying to figure out who I wanted to invite. And then like everyone who I invited, their brother also wanted to come. Like my boy Jimmy came and his brother came. Rob came, his brother came. Our homegirl Diana came, even though she wasn't on the ticket. She just pulled up for the vibes. But it was a nice group. I felt like I was able not only to enjoy it with anime fans, but with like the people I love and the people,
Yeah.
all my friends, like all the like. So I felt like it was lit. But I was trying to worry about in this situation, how am I going to handle this situation? How am I going to get through these questions? And then I was like, it's a Q&A. I really only have to banter. I really only have to do what I do here for about 10 to
Yeah.
15 minutes. So I low-key blacked out during the panel.
Oh,
Like
you did great. Like you flowed, like the way everything flowed. And I think it helps too when you have you're interviewing somebody that is also pretty open and pretty transparent.
Right.
He gave amazing answers and got into great detail about things. I think that your Secret Society of Wolverines question, it came off so well, and how he responded to it and how that kind of turned into like,
I was worried about the people also having a good time during this as well. That was really,
yeah.
I was like
Oh
trying
man,
to
they loved
engage the
you.
people.
Yeah, no, you went up there.
Nah,
You
they ain't
got
give a
on
fuck
your.
about me. They ain't give a
It
fuck
was
about
like
me.
in New York
Yeah,
City.
no,
You got
I wanted to
you
do
put
a
on your
big thing.
DJ voice. You
I
got to
wanted
scream
to,
in the mic a little bit.
I wanted to check the temperature of the room, but like New York City, and I was like, nah, they actually are like here to see this
Yeah,
nigga. They're OD,
yeah.
but
We had one emotional question there. Kind of broke down a little bit about how Steve Bloom meant so much to them.
yeah,
But no, I think like once again, you did amazing. Steve was an amazing person. Was happy to have our short conversation backstage after. Um, but yeah, like it went, I don't know, for the short amount of time and for some of the hurdles that we had to go through, we had an amazing time. We were
Yeah.
able to, like you said, it was a short turnaround. Obviously, every time I'm in New York, I want to see every single person I possibly can.
Right.
It is not, not obviously not always possible, but be able to spend it with you, spend it with Rob, spend it with the rest, some of our other friends, and meet new people who came up. Like it was an amazing opportunity. I had a great time, and yeah, like the energy this year, was crazy.
It was pretty. It was a lot, and that's why I think why we're doing this, not only just this podcast, but this video too, because we kind of want to talk about the 5 things we took away from Anime NYC 2024. Because to me, last year you weren't here last year, um, but Jay was Versace Vegeta, which you can listen to on Subs Live, Dubs Live whenever they come back, which
And
they
they
will.
are,
They
I
are
mean,
coming back.
yeah, they are coming back from what, and then shout out to him and AD. Once y'all hear this, it will be done. But they're at what, Dragon Con?
They are at Dragon Con this weekend, so
Dragon
yeah,
Con,
we're
yeah.
doing it back to back. I wonder how their experience went, if it echoes ours. But no, last year to me the energy felt a little bit off. It was a year where there was kind of like new ownership, new differences, and the energy low key it didn't feel as good. But I'll say this: the energy this year felt kind of like it was restored back to like the first time we all went together. I think they could
Yeah.
have had low key. I think they could have had, and this is no slight on the people that were there. I think they could have had better guests. I just have to keep it a buck, because I think the great part of the energy that it was, and maybe it's because of it was right out the pandemic and all these voice actors needed money and like all these things. So I'm assuming this goes into it as well. But like our first one back was like we got it was like Chris Sabat, Sean Shamel,
Yeah, we were
Demon
spoiled that first
Slayer.
year.
There's some Gundam shit. Like it was a lot of stuff. Like a lot of big name anime shit that was there. Crunchyroll had a big presence there. All these other things. Hypeland
And
was
even,
the
yeah, I'm
thing.
saying like even brands and stuff like that. Hypeland had that cold setup.
Yeah.
That first year there, and it was cool. Like Jordan was there, and like you said, I think that year's energy, the first year we went, it probably will never be matched again.
Nah, probably
In
not.
terms level for level, but this year it felt very close or very similar, like you said.
Nah,
I
for
think
sure.
it was just, I think everyone was there. I think this goes straight into probably our first point, our first takeaway of just the
Wait,
cosplay.
before I want to introduce it because
Yeah, okay.
when I clip this out, it's gonna be clipped out on its own.
For sure.
So definitely want to get into as we were there. So kind of like summarizing this entire thing, the 5 things we learned about Anime NYC 2024, and number 1 has to be, well, there's a couple. We get to the cosplay. Number 1 for me has to be that One Piece is still massive after all these years.
I think right now, can I even say I got even a hotter take? One Piece may be the hottest it's ever been.
Ooh, you might be right.
This is probably the hottest One Piece has ever been. Like,
talk about it.
From cosplay, which, listen, Luffy Law.
right. A lot of people. So we use this as a gauge to kind of like figure out the popularity in anime, and there's so much One Piece, essentially cosplay, so much like activities. I feel like a lot of people gravitated towards that this year more than any. Even if, and this is the year, right? Like it's technically like the 25th anniversary of Naruto, and Naruto is also a big one. But I feel like just One Piece still going on, still running strong. The manga's still running strong. The anime still running strong. It's
just like from the cosplay to the conversations.
It reminded me of like DBZ in 2018 when Dragon Ball Super was really at the peak of its powers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And a lot of it's just the conversation around Dragon Ball was just like bigger than it's ever been, and Dragon Ball's already big enough.
You see it everywhere. You talk about it everywhere. Yeah, you hear the little side bit conversations of you gotta watch it. Oh, it ain't too long. I mean, obviously
Right.
they're doing the you hear you hear people talking about how they will tap into the remake because it's gonna be more condensed. So it's just, I mean, you've seen it everywhere. The figures, the booming. You see everyone with their big choppers and their chopper hats and their, like
Right.
it's it's just something about the way the fan base has not only grown in terms of the amount of people, but it's like intensified. Where it's
Right.
just like now, it's like you said, it's like that time where Dragon Ball Super was at its peak, and it was just like everything is Dragon Ball heavy. People want to do the Dragon Ball cosplays. People want to talk about Dragon Ball. You're talking about the leaks. Oh man, this that. So it's at that point, and obviously One Piece, for it running as long as it has been, it's been in the picture in the game for a very long time.
Right.
It's always been top 5 at some point in time. But I think right now where it's at, it's like this is maybe the strongest it's ever been.
Absolutely. Like, it's One Piece with the live action and everything going on. Like, it's, like you said, the biggest that it's ever been. The second thing that we wanted to talk about, second major thing we took away from it, is that Netflix is, growing as an anime studio and distributor. And part of that may include One Piece.
Yeah.
Pretty much at its home there, and they have the live action, all these other things there. But I think the two major centerpieces, especially on Saturday, they had these really two major panels presented by the G Kid Studio, but these are Netflix. I won't say exclusive, but they're Netflix predominant animes. And the biggest panels by far of the weekend were Don and Terminator. What's it called? Terminator what?
Zero.
Terminator Zero.
Which I did. Which I did watch over this weekend.
You finished it?
I loved it. I love it so much.
I got one episode left. Netflix is really like, so when Netflix kind of came into the game with anime, the reason I enjoyed it was pretty much like, okay, improve quality of life. I don't have to get up to skip this shit. I don't have to. I can 1.25. Like, you get the Netflix UI that you get with so many other shows and so many other things that you enjoy, and now you're getting it with kind of anime. But now they've kind of grown where they're. At first, they had a little bumpy road. I mean, Yasuke.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But and then also like the Cowboy Bebop live action, which was,
I mean,
solid.
The Way of the House Husband, like them early, Netflix kind of, productions,
right?
It was very hit or miss. I think that they were really trying, like, to really get their foot in the game. They're trying to get some real eye catching things.
Yeah, but I think now that they're it's interesting in the way they're promoting things now, right? So now they're kind of dealing with entities that already have a strong base under it, and that's why you're getting so many remakes. We're getting the Terminator Zero one, and I think there's another one that's coming out that I'm bugging. That might be on Netflix. But Terminator is something, the entity, especially in the United States, that we all really know. But then they have Don, which is this big anime that's coming out this fall. And when you talk about like the new anime of the year, the kind of what you can stamp on it, Don is one of them ones, especially with studio behind it. It's got great artwork. It looks like it has a great story. Mm-hmm. I personally have not read Don yet. I know everyone has told me to read Don. I said, listen, I'm gonna wait till it come out. I'm gonna wait till it pull up, even though it low-key pulled up already. But I'm gonna wait for it to pull up. I know.
We know nothing about that. We know nothing.
Right. But it's the big one of the year, essentially.
Yeah,
alongside a couple that dropped earlier this year. And then they have I believe at the end of this year, top of next year, they have Sakamoto Days. Which
had a great presence this year too. Definitely.
Yeah, but so Netflix is kind of like, Netflix is moving this year, and I think that even some other entities as well. We saw first. I don't know if they were there last year, but this was the first time I saw like a Hulu activation at Anime NYC, and they were out on the actual floor with everyone else, and I was like, oh yeah, Hulu. I mean, Hulu does have anime. I watch Go Go Loser Rangers is definitely on that. A couple
Pretty sure they
other
have damn near all the Mobile
Bleach.
Suit Gundams.
Yeah, they
So
got Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War arc, so you can catch that there. It's Hulu Disney, so it's like anything that's on Disney plus Hulu. That's kind of where they're entering. So it's really like this arms race of like, yo, which one is going to be the baddest bitch of them all and have the baddest bitch anime that's there.
yeah,
So Netflix did its thing this year. Shout out to Netflix. Of course, the entire con is sponsored by Crunchyroll, or at least powered by Crunchyroll, so it's definitely there as well. But Netflix really like stepped forward and said like, "Yo, we making our presence known." They had all the voice actors introduce a lot of things. I believe they premiered something else. No, it was G Kids. I don't think it was actual Netflix, but there was something else that like was revealed over the weekend at Anime NYC. It was definitely revealed on a Friday, but I can't remember it right now.
yeah.
But with that said, the next point is we might be in the new era of anime.
We really might. I think that obviously you got a lot of, I don't want to say pillars. It's not really that. It's like, I think when you look at manga, it usually translates into anime. Kind of
Right.
what's going on in the manga world is going to eventually go into anime.
Right.
MHA, JJK, cool. I think right now it's hard. I feel that there was a time in anime where there was like 1, 2, maybe 3 animes that like really dominated a conversation.
Right.
You had your Dragon Ball, you had your big 3, and then it's kind of like after that, you kind of had these other really big ones. It's kind of like, okay, these things dominate. I think now we're such in a widespread era.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're like, oh shit, that's coming out. Oh shit, that's coming out. Damn, we're still talking about this, and that happened like earlier last. I feel like now the playing board is so crazy and so wide and so vast. You just look at it, you're like, holy shit, like we've been saying it for a while that we're kind of like in this kind of golden, like anime's bigger than it's ever been and this and that, but it's like I feel like right now we're kind of at the peak of that peak,
right,
or we're getting close to the peak of that peak where you're just like, holy shit, like it is everywhere, and there's so much great production coming out of it too.
Absolutely. I think one of the things with Anime NYC, especially this year, there were so many different activations for so many other anime this year. I mean, there was one for Sakamoto Days, there was one for Blue Lock, there was one for Tower of
God.
Yeah, there was one for Solo Leveling. I mean, there's really so many different
Kaiju
options.
number 8 one. They had the Terminator, the one, and that once again another thing that after the cons, after the previews, everyone was talking about it. Like, yo, this is another great one. You, like you said, Sakamoto Days had that. You still got the classics. Like you said, One Piece had their thing. So it was just, once again, we're at a level that where you're just kind of like, how much bigger can it get?
Right. And I think it's because of those pillars, right? Like, it's because of everything that happened in like kind of the aughts, where it's really building up the anime conversation, that we get there. And there's so much now being invested within anime as a product, not only just in the United States now, but like worldwide, because there are so many different things. Mashal, all these other places and big things that are happening at the con. Viz had their Viz store where you can get like manga now, or like new things in manga. So not only are you being kept to date with everything up in anime, but you're now kept to date with up. Now, if you choose to do so, you can like get into some manga. So it's definitely, we're in a new era. So many different types of cosplay. Not only just, even though One Piece kind of really dominated the scene with everything, I do feel like there's so much different cosplay from. I mean, you can check it on our Instagram page and see everything that's kind of there, and pictures that we took over the weekend, and then more pictures that's to come.
Yes, more pictures to come.
So another bit, and I think this continues with this conversation. Number 4 thing is the anime continues to approach its peak in popularity. And I think we've talked about this so much with the conversation that we've had, but anime is just continuing to build over the next couple of years. And again, this convention, which is one of the biggest, and I say that because more so now, last year 64,000 people showed up to Anime NYC. This year 101,000 people showed up.
And it felt like 101.
Oh, it absolutely felt like 101,000 people.
Yes.
Because you could not move. It was every nook and cranny. Like, I think the lightest day was probably Sunday, but every day, the day we went Saturday, you couldn't. We got lost with our friends. We met back up with them. Like we you know,
it was like an anime. It was the journey.
Right.
We all were breaking off and going on different journeys, and they coming back.
And there's so many people that's just there. Like, so many people purchase tickets. So many people just existing there. Whether you're in cosplay or not, everybody of different ages, parents with their children, people with their friends, everything of the rather. Like, anime has really like built to this new impressive place in society where it is definitely becoming mainstream. When you look about the 2000s and everything then, anime wasn't necessarily mainstream, and really the only places you can catch it, you catch it in 3 parts on YouTube, trying to watch it and catch up with Naruto or whatever the hell you're trying to do. But now it's so accessible with Hulu, Netflix, Crunchyroll. It's so prominent with all these characters kind of popping out with live actions with One Piece and Cowboy Bebop and all these other things.
I mean, and now, even you think about how many panels were hosting Japanese voice actors.
Right. I think the culture, like, we've also begun to accept the Eastern culture now, within the things that we've done now, like within how we accept anime. So it's a much more wide variety. But yeah, definitely the Japanese voice actors coming,
like they're coming here and having an audience. They're coming here and having a little market of people being like, oh, I know who that is,
right?
You know, and it's great to see it, especially when when you think about like anime being this connector.
Mm-hmm.
Anime being this connector between 2 cultures, 2 different parts of the world, and we're all connecting on this thing, and we're able to, like, once again, have our favorites over there. Well, I'm sure they come over there and they're just, it's just great to see, and it's great to be a part of.
Absolutely.
You just being there, you feeling the love, you see the people. It was cool capturing some pictures when they were doing the cosplay meetups. And just seeing all these people who probably never met each other ever in their life, but like, right, in that moment in time, they're best fucking friends because they just so happen to dress up as the same character or 2 characters from the same show.
Right, and it's great, and I think that's one of the big proponents, especially of anime conventions over the last number of years, because they are this great like place where culture intersects with community, and it's this great opportunity to just enjoy anime with your friends and be able to be the fan that you are with the people who are also fans of them. So Anime NYC really brought the people together. I'm assuming people from, I got to read the press release, I'm assuming everybody from every state decided to show up this year, because 101,000 people is nuts. That's more than WrestleMania. That's more than the Super Bowl. That's more than everybody, and they were all centered, bought tickets for 1 weekend at one place. So that is incredibly dope. And our last point for the 5 things we took away from Anime NYC 2024 is that the summer is by far 1,000,000 times better than having this convention in the fall.
Oh yeah, for sure. Listen,
the accessibility, the weather. The weather is the big key.
Yeah, no, the weather for sure. People want to be outside. You want to be out. You want to be moving about. Like, it definitely wasn't like super hot. We got on a good weekend.
Right.
Breezy 80.
It was good.
It was good. And
even the lines outside, like, I remember, I mean, I was never on the lines because I was impressed.
Yeah, listen, it was never at the lines, but
never done a line. Even when they were trying to make us in the line, we was like, nah, I'm not doing this line. Being out at the Javits Center in late November is not fun at all, because 1, it's by the water. 2, it's extremely freezing. And 3, there's hundreds of people waiting online to get inside who are also freezing in whatever cosplay that they are bundled up in under their North Face. So It is by far the change to summer for Anime NYC has been the greatest, I would say.
And I think too, you get that. I think they get that added New York summer energy. You
Yeah,
know, like people were excited and lively and just like, hey, we here. We're jumping around. We all got our thotty versions of whatever
right.
whatever cosplay we got on. Everybody was Zorro with no shirt. It was great.
Yeah, no, it was
Like
it was
you got the
amazing. Like
energy. You were happy to be there.
it's be a New York summer's undefeated, as they usually say. And this kind of like prove it. And this was like a great, like, if this was your final event for the summer, this was an amazing way to kind of like take it out. You know what I'm saying?
For
Or
sure.
if this was your trip to New York City for the summer, it was an amazing weekend to experience all of this. But it proved with the results, with the amount of people who showed up this year, with everything, and kind of do that the change from a fall convention to a summer convention is big. And next year they're going to be the same weekend. So I believe it's like the weekend of August 22nd through August 25th. I could be wrong. 2025. They're doing it again. So again, Anime NYC is probably the hottest ticket you can get at the end of summer, especially if you're an anime fan. And take this from somebody who went to Fanatics Fest, where arguably there's actual like real celebrities that people would know in our hemisphere. There's Jay-Z, DJ Khaled, Drewski, sports Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and not to say that these aren't bigger, but the anime community is just like so much more enforced than anything. So it's
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
big. It was definitely awesome.
Yeah, and once again, it was just I think the summer part is what added to it feeling like that first year
Right.
of just like everyone was there. And granted, it was packed, it was thick, people were rubbing shoulders for sure, but there was never a moment or a time where you're kind of just like the energy feels staticky in here. Something kind of pop. Like it was always felt like, man, everyone is just happy to be here. Everyone is just
Absolutely.
excited to be in this space, in this area. They had plenty of great events happening outside of Anime NYC, or Anime NYC inspired events outside. But it's like people wanted to go to those. People
Right.
wanted to go to the parties, and people wanted to do. So it's just it was great, man. Like I think, like you said, the energy, the feeling in the air, it was an amazing time. And obviously the summer really added to it, especially and also too, when we went, those buildings be turning them streets into damn wind tunnels.
Yeah, for sure. No, that
You
wind will
walking
whoop
with
your
the hat
ass.
down, you be blowing.
Yeah, no, the wind will whoop your ass for sure. So I'm just glad you didn't have to experience it this year. Um, what other final things can we say before we head out of here? Because this is definitely the bonus of the bonuses.
Yeah,
Um, I wish we got interviews. But now I definitely feel more inclined now to be like, all right, it's time to get us on our own. Like, fuck this. Fuck waiting
yeah,
for a convention to get these interviews, because with everything there, press for anime conventions are still largely the worst. Um, but realistically, would have loved to get interviews. We didn't get interviews, but maybe next year. And also, it's like I feel like now, I want to hopefully this time next year, if we get another opportunity to moderate a panel, that we could do it together. I feel like
yeah, for
I
sure.
want more of our people there to be able to enjoy it with us. Hopefully, we get 80 and Jay to show up. Hopefully, we can get some more people to show up. We get to have like a lookout meetup or something along those lines, like with people who vibe with us and who want to come out. Um, it's just awesome, and it was a great. This year was great. Everything was great. Um, yeah, Anime NYC was cool, man.
Yeah, it really was. And I think, I'm in agreement with you. I think now, especially with the relationships that we've been building, and next year would be great to have something happen, a panel, something. Uh, so yeah, I mean that's definitely something that's on our docket for next year. But overall, happy to be there. Happy to see my guy Meelz. I see him like I get like 2-3 weekends a year where I get to actually see him. So I always take advantage of that. But Nah, it was a great time. And like, what more can I say? The cosplay was great. It's, as a person who doesn't do it, I appreciate the hard work and
Right.
the amazing things that we saw. And I think cosplay too is like, it's very much an indicator of like what's hot right now.
It is definitely, if you're willing to dress up as them, it's definitely indicator of what hot. And so many people had a great cosplay this year. You can look on YouTube. You can check on our Instagram and see it. You can look on YouTube and just search up Anime NYC 2024, and you see all the amazing cosplay and all the
Yeah,
great people
sure.
who captured it. So definitely check that out. Let's see. Before we go, um, just quick, let's leave it to people with something. What are you watching? What are you reading, if anything?
Watching right now. Finished
Just
up
finished
Terminator.
Terminator. I got one more episode.
Yep. Just watched Megalobox season 1 and season 2, and I can't brag enough about season 2. Um, it's absolutely amazing. It's one of the best things I feel I've ever watched. The feeling of it is amazing. What else did I watch? I watched something else. Been watching a lot of like I'm back on my Gundam ways, so I'm watching a lot of different mobile suits.
Right.
What's the last thing? Reading. So reading, after our conversation in our chat, I really want to go and read Fire Force and read Soul Eater right after. I want to get through that whole little world. So that might be the next thing I'm jumping into, like chapter 1 all the way through is those two. So
I might as well read Fire Force because I'm not sure when the fuck they're coming back or if
they
it's
ever
going to
will.
be worth it.
I
Yeah, because
saw
I
something
can't
about
finish.
season 3,
I can't
but
finish season 2. I just haven't finished season 2 of Fire Force at all.
yeah.
So maybe reading it will be definitely better. I've been watching. I watched One Piece Thriller Bark arc because you guys have been telling me get to Marine Forward. So I got through Thriller Bark and I said, okay, I'm gonna take a pause for the calls right here, and then I'll get back to it. I've been Go Go Loser Rangers was pretty cool.
How do you like that? I saw it and you told me you're watching it.
It's good. I need to rewatch the ending. So I'm not gonna say because it's definitely on Hulu, but I wasn't watching it on Hulu. But unfortunately, the website that I was watching it on got shut down, or they just decided to shut down, which I fucking hate. I was like, wow. I wish I was on. All I needed was finish was episode 11 and 12, and then I had to like search on the dark web with mad pop-ups of everything that you imagine that there's pop-ups for, and watch it there, and it wasn't the same experience. I was just incredibly upset. But it's valid. It's cool.
Yeah.
I watched. What else did I watch? Terminator, still final episode on. And then what did I? I watched the English dub of Demon Slayer. I just realized that like on the lowest of keys, because the season was filler. I was watching the episodes and I was like, why am I doing this? Let me just skip to the part that's actually important. And I literally just skipped to like episode 7 or and 8. I was just like, why am I watching all of this? Like, none of this matters in the way that I want it to matter. I've seen it before in Japanese. I get it, but it doesn't matter. So I skipped all of that. My Hero Academia, obviously, which is the season's going awesome. And yeah, shout out to all the Brazilian stand pages that now have to go underneath the
man.
thing.
Hey, listen, shout out to, I don't know if we got any listeners in Brazil, but shout out to Brazil.
Shout out to Brazil, man. We here for you, man. We'll overtake the Twitter.
Yeah, listen, I'll open up the T Wolves Brazil account.
I didn't know so many stand pages were from Brazil. Like they like heavy stand.
Oh yeah,
like,
they
are
were like
fans.
They were like popping up out of the woodwork, like, "Hey, just letting y'all know."
I was like, God, another one? Damn, that's crazy. So
they were popping out the woodworks. I was like, all y'all Brazilian?
Right, that's what I'm saying. But it just is what it is at this point. Wish the best for all you guys involved.
We lost some heavy hitters in the fan page department.
Right. No, for sure. And then now we got to figure out what we're going to be talking about this fall when we return. But I know the first episode we're definitely going to be talking about the end of Jujutsu Kaisen as we know it. Um, Even though it's low key, the final fight has ended. Now we're kind of in the epilogue part of things. Um, we got to talk about how we ended because it's still a major discussion in in Discord. So
yeah, we
we'll
got
see
to.
how it ends. We'll see how they land the plane. But it is what it is.
We have some turbulence at the end, but if we can get a clean landing, that's all I ask for.
JJK, I think it's already stamped as one of the highlights and peaks of this thing. So I don't really think it has anything to worry about, to be honest with you. Plus, I think once it's finally adapted in anime, people will not care because it's so good.
Oh yeah, no. I think the anime would do this ending so much more justice.
If people do not care that like Demon Slayer doesn't really have a story until from like the beginning, and a lot of things doesn't happen until the middle, but the animation is so fire and the fights are so fire that people don't care. People will not care about Jujutsu Kaisen and all the plot holes that it has. But with that said,
we'll talk about it on the next episode. But my last statement is: people really don't care about manga endings as much as they make it seem they do. We'll get more into that statement when we get back.
We'll see. The mangaka for Attack on Titan nearly cried because niggas hated it, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this. We're releasing this after Labor Day, so when you guys get back to work on Monday or Tuesday rather, you'll be able to enjoy this. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you when we're back. Peace.
Peace.